Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is James from Pennsylvania. How are you,
James
Danny?
from Pennsylvania. How you doing, man?
I'm well, just looking at the moon,
Oh yeah.
enjoying the night.
Enjoy looking at the moon, thinking about conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
thinking how the
See,
hell did we get there?
I don't think it's real, Danny.
Yeah. You don't think the moon's real, or you don't think we
No,
got to
I'm
the
just
moon?
kidding.
No, no, no.
No, I'm
I don't
kidding.
know how I feel. I honestly, I don't know if I'm just generally a gullible person, but I'm like, I still feel like they did go to the moon. I know there's all the things that are kind of points of why they didn't. Although I think they're saying that they're going to go back, right?
From what I hear,
I think they're trying to make a point just to shut up all the haters.
I
But
think it'll be
I
a good
feel like
stopping
even
ground
if they
for.
go back, all the moon people, even if they had definitive proof, they won't accept it. Like even if an astronaut takes a fucking selfie from the moon, you go, they're just gonna be like, it's doctored.
At this point, Danny, I'm not sure if any of the institutions, no matter what they would say, how much of the population would
That
actually
is a
trust.
very good point, James. That is a very valid point. So,
And
what do you want to talk about?
well, it's an overarching thing. I've been paying attention to a lot. I have 4 kids. I can keep a earbud in my ear and listen to a lot of stuff
Yeah.
while I'm doing everything. Try to retain as much as I can, but I'm seeing a lot of patterns
Okay.
between media. We're talking like music, films, TV shows, and there's a lot of surface level stuff, peripheral stuff. Like I feel like a lot of what we've been seeing lately is just in the same vein where we're seeing a lot of these shootings, which brings up a lot of political things. We see a lot of like the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial took over the news. A lot of these things that are just taking over the news and overshadowing the main things that are actually turning the gears of change.
Yeah. Now I have a
And I'm not.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
To just counterpoint to that with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, because I know there's one, potentially valid school of thought where it's like they're pushing that to distract from other stuff. But then I feel like the more unfortunate answer is that we just don't give a shit about the actual stuff. We want fucking Amber Heard shitting in his bed, and we want, this super famous movie star to just air out all his laundry, and we just love gossip and
Yeah.
this bullshit, and it's like it doesn't, it's no stakes in the grand scheme of things, and that's actually that's actually what people want, and they don't really care about everything else. Versus the other, side of that coin is that they're forcing us into. So, and I don't know. I wonder. I mean, people wouldn't care if it wasn't televised, not nearly as much,
Right.
but yeah. So
And it seemed a little odd just how much attention it got, how it was.
yeah, I mean, you know
I don't
what?
know.
I never like Ryan, my friend Ryan Long. Like he was constantly like, he's like, you're not following this. He's like, I'm watching this all day. My girlfriend is, she's so into this, and I know so many people. And you know what? It was one of those things where I'm just like, I would get minor updates, and I'm just like, I really don't care. I'm not like a crazy Johnny Depp guy. I'm like, he's fine,
Mhm.
but I'm like, I don't love Johnny Depp. I didn't really know who Amber Heard was, to be honest. And so I was like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just too gossipy for my taste. But
I
anyways,
hear ya.
continue on.
Over the past few years, I would say it's definitely pulled off a lot of curtains that celebrities have been able to put up, a lot of filters.
Yeah.
And you're able to see a lot of, because even Johnny Depp, seeing him in that form and the way he speaks and the way he acts, you're not ever sure who's performing.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's
mean, they
very
are
hard.
actors. They're both trained.
Yeah. So it's so hard to even know whether or not, like, in all the recordings they played during the trial, that like they recorded themselves having conversations. I'm out here in PA and I'm like, we're poor and we're like, this would never happen. We'd never just record each other having these conversations. And
No.
it's just,
Well,
but of course it's such a different thing where they're like, I went to house number 4 and I stayed there and he stayed at house number 1 and
Right.
we thought about the penthouse, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, little things.
I mean, I think the recording stuff was because they knew that they were reaching kind of the 9th inning of this relationship. I think they both
Yeah.
kind of were like, yo, we've done so much fucked up shit where now it's like cover your ass time.
Yeah, and when you have that
because
money and stuff
you have
and
that money,
houses.
you have these reputations, and I think they both kind of knew. They're like, this has been a really toxic, fucked up relationship, and this is probably not going to be a clean break.
Yeah, both trying to cover their own ass before they knew shit would hit the fan.
Yeah,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
But I guess getting off of that vein, it's with the main thing I'm trying to bring attention to, I guess, and a lot of people are doing it, but it seems like nobody seems to care. These people like Davos, World Economic Forum. I know there's a lot of younger people that you don't even see talk. Like what is it? Yuval Noah
Yeah,
Harari.
yeah, that is an interesting one that he has become quite this. He went from, he's not really like a mainstream villain. I was actually looking at
Right.
his Instagram page because I saw someone reposted something from him. Like or you know what? No, I follow him on Instagram because he came out with the book Sapiens and was like this huge hit, right? Everybody's like, this is the greatest book. And then he's kind of become villainized in this circle. So I went to his Instagram page wondering like if all the comments are like, you fucking ruining the world, blah, 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 like all your ideas. Because I know there's a group of people who think he's like the worst. He's on Bill Gates territory. But there weren't any comments to that effect. So it hasn't quite reached that like mainstream level where he's hated.
Well, it seems like nobody really cares about these people until certain types of media pick them up, make them somewhat of a name, and say like, you've heard of Klaus Schwab. Well, here's the younger version, and basically the guy that he's listening to. But I'm trying to hear both sides in a neutral way, to where I'm not hearing these people when they speak at the World Economic Forum. Like they just had that big meeting. There was a meeting in DC that a lot of huge people went to that hardly anybody even covered, that just happened. I don't know if it was this week or last week, but very recent. But it's nobody cares around here.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, because like you talk to them, and like even if you do it in a way where you're like, just listen to this video, don't listen to me talk, because like normally you try to stay away from the politics and like just tell them this is kind of the reason why you're having the issues you are, because I'm kind of watching society disintegrate over here.
Yeah.
It's not as bad, I would say, in cities, even though with all the violence and everything, you can kind of still see the success in some veins. When you're out here in areas where all the factories are gone, all the work is gone, and we're all just trying to live online or working at Walmart or Amazon, whatever.
Yeah.
Corporations have basically bought up everything, and they already have. So like the next vein is like, are these people who want to take charge and have basically already, do they want to keep everybody around? Do they want, like, because Yuval, like when he speaks about the useless eaters. They're going to be on video games doing drugs.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're
going to be giving them drugs and video games just to keep them occupied.
Right. So like I think any of the people that think they're going to do some mass, bad thing to a lot of people, I think they're doing it slowly. And everybody has to understand that it's a financial execution as well as a physical execution.
Yeah.
They take control of the healthcare system, and it basically just makes money off of you, and you can't get out of it at this academic level. All the good doctors have went private or into better areas. So then it's just a little circle, and it's just a cycle that you get stuck in economically, health, financially, everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And they keep you there to make money off of you. And I feel like if the people who are successful that don't agree with that, they need to stop following and start leading. They have to come out to these areas that are dying and really start investing in them.
I mean, I feel that's what Trump did a bit. I feel like that's why he won in 2016, was because he didn't ignore all those kind of like areas, right, and all those places, and he kind of did, acknowledge what you're saying.
And he spoke to a lot of us around here. Obviously, that's where he got the support. It's like he was hitting that vein of, all your jobs are gone, we're going to bring them back. All these different things that we could see actually happening in our day-to-day lives. Now, I don't know if I trust any of these people, because honestly, Trump did a lot to polarize And you have to be able to acknowledge that, because I can acknowledge that Biden is a puppet who's a corpse, and he's just doing what he has to. And he's basically like, what, Jimmy Carter 2.0?
Kind of. I mean, he
do
was
all
just
the horrible shit.
They didn't bring him
So,
in to lead. They brought him in to just not be Trump.
right. To do
Yeah.
all the horrible things, and then he'll be able to go off as a bad president like Jimmy Carter was. And I don't know if he'll do it before the end of the term, so then Harris can step in and do whatever she's going to do.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're going to bring her in unless he dies, because she's they've kind of sidelined her pretty badly.
But I try not to see them as stupid, either side. Because to me, once you have that amount of money, you're at that level, you have think tanks to work with and all this different stuff. You're not doing things stupidly, especially if you're following a plan.
Yeah.
So like right now, where the left seems like they're really shooting themselves in the foot over a lot of different things, and it seems like almost a red wave and everything. I don't know if that's going to be such a great thing that everybody's clamoring for.
The red wave, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think any type of polarized paint yourself a color anything. Like, and I know this probably sounds like make a third party that's purple and everybody just join that. It's more of like, we got to stop with such big things. Like, everybody has to get small. And when I say the successful people have to invest, I mean invest into a small area, keep it small. Don't try to become such a leader of it. Just the people need investment. They have ideas. We have skills. We're not useless eaters. We've just literally been made to be this way.
James, it sounds like you could be a politician. Have you ever
I've been listening to a lot.
I feel like you could, I mean, on a municipal level, like I'm saying, just, to start, because you're saying, you want to start small, and maybe it's something James over here has got to do.
Well, I think everybody can be a politician in their own lives.
Yeah.
And if we can do it smaller, and who knows, somebody might label me as different things. There's a label for everything.
I mean, everybody labels people for their own benefits. I wouldn't be too concerned with that.
Well, the generalizations help in comedy and everything else.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to kind of be able to paint and put people in buckets and be able to say, But like, in the overall grand scheme of things, cutting the comedy out of it, and I'm sorry, I haven't been that.
That's okay. This isn't a comedy show. It's kind of is, but not really.
I just want the people that are doing successful, because you and Ryan seem to be doing well, and I don't want you to feel like, I have to turn around and just give handouts. It's more along the lines of like, you remember where you were before you got successful. There's a lot of us here who can do it, and something different, whatever we have. It's a lot of us are just lacking the underlying base to do it.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. So if UBI sounds like a scary, scary Democratic thing, just understand that $1,000 a month to some of us out here would be life-saving. Almost.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I would say, because the UBI thing was pre-COVID, and everybody was yang, and everybody was like, where the fuck is this money going to come from, dude? You crazy. And then since then, they literally just have the printers on 24/7. And then, so there's your answer. Now we are getting this, inflation. So we are getting the other side of this. The negative kind of reaction to this is this inflation, but a lot of this inflation kind of like really amped up with all this, like the war and the Chinese supply chain stuff. Before that, like the inflation wasn't like the inflation was like mostly in the stock market, really, but you weren't seeing it like on Main Street, quote unquote. Like it wasn't like gas prices were insane and food and all that stuff. It's only really been amped up since all the COVID Russia stuff. So, but James, honestly, you know what? James, people are liking you in the chat. I think you should, maybe if you want to set up a fundraiser, and we'll get you into politics wherever you live. I'll contribute to it, James. If you want to email lowvaluemailquestions@gmail.com, some sort of link. If you ever decide to do that, I'm going to support James. I'm backing James. I like James.
I appreciate that, Danny. What I'm going to say is I'm going to try to do somewhat of the same thing, but in music. I think it's a universal language. I think people can come together under that, and if we all kind of have the idea that we're all humans, we can all make mistakes, we can all get confused, and especially when we got all this polarizing media pulling us one way, telling us different things. It's like, talk to your neighbors, understand where you are, see the things that have to happen at home, and really just try to get off your ass and make it happen. Everybody.
Hell yeah,
You can't.
James. Those
Yeah.
some good words. I appreciate it.
But
All
hey,
right.
you have a good night.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you too,
you
James.
taking the call.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.